guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today's reading is all about what would happen if you were to reach out to the person on your mind. So this could be maybe an ex-romantic partner that you've been out of contact with, maybe an ex-best friend who maybe you want to reconnect with, or maybe you want to get closure on something, or maybe it's a family member that you haven't spoken to in a long time. And this reading hopefully aims to show you what would the outcome be like for you and the outcome for them if you were to reach out to them, if you were to try to reconnect or speak to them in some way. How would that go for you and how would it go for them? As well as a piece of advice about the situation between you and them, just, to hopefully get you some ideas of what would happen if you are interested in reaching out and bridging that gap between you and this person. So today I have 3 different readings for you to choose from: pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. I'll leave timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever one that you feel most drawn to, but go ahead and pause, figure out which one you feel like is meant for you, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile 1. This is the reading for you. So the way that I said that we were going to do this is we're looking at how would it feel for you if you were to reach out? What would the outcome be for you after you reach out to this person? Then we're going to get into how would the person react? So what would the outcome be for them? And then finally, a piece of advice for you about this situation. What I'm really getting, after looking at your cards for a bit, is I think that this might have to do with a parent. Specifically a father, though it doesn't have to be a father. I know that this is a general reading, so it might be slightly different for everybody, but it really does give parent energy because it almost seems like there's a imbalance of power somehow. Like you are reaching out to them trying to make things work, but I just get an older kind of stubborn energy from them. And keep in mind, if it's not a parent for you, I'm still going to describe exactly what it sounds like and, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And I'm going to be absolutely honest in what I see in your reading. It doesn't look like you would get what you want out of reaching out from this person, because I don't think that they would respond in the way that you want them to. So starting off with you, what would happen to you? What would the outcome be for you if you were to reach out? You have the 4 of Pentacles and shame. Shame is self-explanatory. I feel like the person would shame you a lot. I feel like they wouldn't see your side of things. I think that this person is somebody who definitely takes a victim mentality. If I had to describe an example for you, imagine somebody that reached out to their father after a long time of not speaking, and the father was in the wrong. The father is gonna blame the person, be like, well, why didn't you reach out? And you do this wrong, and you do that wrong, and it's like they're not even hearing you out. And I feel like with this 4 of Pentacles, when we look at the 4 of Pentacles, you see this guy's holding on to these pentacles with every part of his body, with his head, his hands, and his feet. And it's all this stuff that you've bottled up. And it's you want to finally let go of this baggage. You want to get closure. But this person is not taking any of those pentacles from you. The only person that can get closure is yourself. Unfortunately, this is somebody that I feel like they're not going to be the most receptive. They're not going to hear you out, and you're gonna walk away from this with the same amount of baggage that you walked into it if you do reach out to them. And with the shame card, I feel like it's gonna be a lot of them in their victim mentality, not listening to you, berating you, telling you all the things that you do wrong. And I feel like this is a very stubborn person. Unfortunately, I really don't see very positive cards here about them being receptive to you. I feel like no matter what, they're never going to see that they were in the wrong. They're never going to see the part that they had to play in it. It's just, oh, woe is me. I'm the victim here. And I see that when I look at the outcome for them, how they would feel after you reached out. I think with the 5 of Pentacles, you see these 2 people that are wounded. They're out in the cold. It very much to me is giving they would have a victim mentality. They would have this mentality of I'm still locked out in the cold, you'll never forgive me, you don't love me, and it's look at this gap that you've put between us, look at this space that you put between us. It'd just be a lot of blaming, and I feel like with the shame card for you, you would be feeling so much shame, you would feel so much guilt, because this is a classic guilt-tripping, gaslighting kind of situation. And the renewal card you see there's this window that's like has all this water pouring in. I feel like if you were to open that window between the two of you, it's like it's just making everything fresh again, and they're just pouring all this baggage onto you, all this shit onto you. And honestly, I feel like you would regret reaching out to this person because they're not going to hear you out like an adult. Like, that's what I see very clearly here. And, I'm not trying to make the decision for you. I just want to give you the best information possible so that you can make the best well-informed decision for yourself about what you want to do. But if you were hoping to get closure from this person by bridging that gap or opening the window, per se, it's like all their shit from their side of the wall is pouring into your side because you opened that window up. And I don't think a lot would get done. I don't think a lot would be solved. In fact, I think it would just be like tearing open a wound again and just poking your finger in it over and over again, because this person has a very childish energy to them. Somebody that doesn't have a lot of emotional maturity, somebody that has built a very hard shell around them after a long period of time, because they needed to protect themselves. I don't think they came from a background of healthy communication. Maybe this is generational trauma that's been passed down, and so they don't really have the framework to even begin to understand or have these kinds of conversations about emotions. And to be quite honest with you, I think it would hurt you very deeply to try to invite this person back into your life. But the advice that I have for you, so you have an interesting set of advice here. You have the Four of Swords and Bottled Up. The Four of Swords, to me, this card is about rest. It's about lack of action. So if I was to give you advice about your situation, I would say it might not be best to reach out. It might not be best to talk to them. But with Bottled Up, you need to find an outlet for your emotion. You need to find a way to get closure, even if you can't get closure from this person. Because the thing about closure is it's something that you need to find a way to give to yourself, because you can't always expect them to be the one to roll over and give it to you. Some people are just set in their ways. Some people are never going to take the cap off that bottle for you. You need to find a way that you can take it off yourself. And maybe that's going through therapy. Maybe that's working really hard to finally be at peace with this, even if it means not reaching out to this person. But I feel like a part of you wishes the solution is reaching out to this person, speaking to them, and healing old wounds. But if they're not going to be receptive to it, the communication goes both ways. And if they can't give you what you need, it's only going to hurt you worse. So you really need to ask yourself, is there a better way that I could go about healing this, healing myself, and finding closure? And I think that there is. I feel like the universe is trying to show you that there is another path. There is another option to getting you the closure that you desire. There is another path to getting you the healing that you need and unbottling up all these emotions within you. And maybe it starts with yourself. Maybe it starts with fully healing yourself and getting to a place where, it'd be nice if you two could forgive and forget and have a healthy relationship and, maybe find closure within each other. But not relying on them to give that to you is going to give you so much power and self-empowerment, because it's like, I don't need you to give me this closure. I can give it to myself. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot easier said than done. I think that you have a long journey ahead of you regarding healing this process. But if you were looking for, like, should I reach out, should I not? The decision is still up to you. You have free will, and, I'm just a voice on the internet. But given what I see in these cards, I think it would hurt you a lot if you were to try to reach out to them. And I feel like the closure that you're seeking, the healing that you're seeking, is something that you can find a way to do on your own. So I want to encourage you, like, you could absolutely do this without being hurt worse by this person, if you desire to go that route. But pile one, that is everything that I have for you. I hope that this reading found you when you needed it the most. I really hope that it brought you some clarity on this issue. But yeah, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile two. If you chose pile two, then this is the reading for you. I feel with your reading, there's a lot of, like, very anxious energy. And so I want to say quickly, like, if you've been dealing with a lot, you've had a lot on your plate, or maybe you've been, I'm not diagnosing, but if maybe you've been feeling a little bit manic, and that's why you want to reach out as like you've got this sudden like burst of energy or burst of confidence, it might be best to sit on it a bit longer and really think about this before you go forward with it, especially like making sure you don't have a lot on your plate before you do something like this, because like, for example, if you're really busy with school and work and family issues, and on top of that, you decide to reach out to this person and it doesn't go as planned and it ends up horribly, it's just adding on to your emotional state. And I just wanted to quickly point that out, even if maybe that's not you, just because I was getting a very anxious, almost like brain fog kind of energy while I was pulling your cards. Like I couldn't really focus on what I was doing, and I feel like this situation demands a lot of focus from you, a lot of clear-headedness. So I just wanted to put that out there before we get into the reading. But getting into it, the way that we're doing this is we're looking at what would the outcome be for you if you were to reach out? You know, how would you feel afterwards? What would you get out of it? And then the same for them. You know, how would they be feeling afterwards? What would the outcome be like for them? And then finally, a piece of advice about the current situation that you're dealing with. So starting off, I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look too great for you. I feel like this person is somebody who you went no contact with for a very long time. And it's somebody who still, I don't quite know if saying that they're still in the healing process is the right way to put it, but they would not respond to you right away. And if they did, I think it would be a very short response, and I think that would hurt you. But in reality, I don't think that this person is ready to have a full-on conversation with you. And the reason that I think that is because on their side, you have the Six of Pentacles reversed. And the Six of Pentacles, when it's upright, is like very giving, it's very generous. Reversed, it's like, I'll give you a crumb. And what that reads like to me, if it was like a conversation between the two of you, is I feel like your way of reaching out is to give them like a really long paragraph of like, this is, where I'm at, this is how I'm doing, I hope you're doing well, just wanted to reach out, and like all these words. I think you would do like 100+ words to send to them. And then they would respond like maybe days later, they wouldn't say anything, and then all of a sudden it's just like a very short, like 1-sentence response. And it's not coming from a place of wanting to hurt you. It's coming from a place of, obviously they don't know what's going on inside your head. They didn't know you were going to reach out. It's blindsiding them, especially if you've been in no contact, especially if you guys both agreed that you don't want to be in contact. And you have no idea what's going on in this person's life. For all you know, they have a lot on their plate as well. Honestly, maybe that's the energy that I was getting, is they have so much on their plate that they can't focus on what you're trying to do. So something that we forget sometimes is, we get so absorbed in our own lives, we forget like everybody else has got just as busy of a life. And if they don't respond right away, it's like you think it has something to do with you. You think it has something to like, oh God, they hate me, they're never going to talk to me. In reality, it's like maybe this is the last thing that they could deal with right now. And so I feel like you'd be in your head about a lot of different things. And I think you also have a lot of different ideas about what the outcome could be like. Because the Seven of Cups is all about like imagination, different ideas, different outcomes of things. But with it reversed, I feel like the outcome that you would get from this situation is not something that you would ever expect. And what I mean by that is I feel like you play it up in your head, like if I reach out, they're going to say this, or they're going to respond this way. Even if it's just like daydreaming about the different ways that it might pan out, I feel like you're going to be very upset to realize that it's not happening like that at all. In fact, there's nothing happening, because I think that this person wouldn't respond for a while, or if they did respond, it would be very short responses. They take forever to respond. And it, like I said, it's not coming up from a place of just like wanting to discard you or not wanting to talk. I truly think that they might have a ton going on in their life, and just might not be able to give you the attention that you need. And on top of that, maybe this is a very fresh wound between the two of you, and maybe they're not quite ready or don't quite know how to talk to you about this. It certainly, I feel like this reads to me as like a relationship. Maybe this was like a breakup, and this is just my opinion, so keep in mind, you don't need to listen to this. But if it's only been a few weeks or a few months since you broke up, it might not be the best idea to reach out to this person. because they deserve the time and the space to heal, the time and space to have no communication. And if they're not ready to invite you back into their life and they feel like they have an obligation to respond, it's just going to slow the healing process for them. Now, if it's been years or you feel like you two are at a good place where it's like you want to reach out and just see how they're doing, I think that's more harmless. But sometimes you have to realize that space and time is not just required, but it's what they deserve, especially in this time where you're both trying to heal and figure things out. And sometimes reaching out and bridging that gap can undo healing, and it can throw us back to places where we're not quite ready to deal with things. And so I've had all those like random messages come out, but I'm not really going in order here. So starting at the beginning, we have with you. I think you would feel very distraught because the way that things would happen is very unexpected. Because I think like you wouldn't be getting a message right away. You would have a lot of time to be in your head, wondering what they're thinking. And with gloom, I think you would be really upset. You'd be really like almost like panicky energy because, when you pour your heart out to somebody and they don't respond right away, especially if it takes days or it's not the response that you want to get, I think that you would be feeling very upset. I think this might even make you feel like you took some steps backwards when it comes to healing from this person. And for them, I feel like they wouldn't respond right away. In fact, like I keep saying, I keep getting in my mind like they're not going to respond for a few days. And when they do, maybe it's very little. I think they want to give you the proper time and reflection that they can give before they give you an answer, before they write back to you. Because for you, you've been sitting on this idea for a while, up until the moment that you do it. For them, they had no idea that you were about to reach out to them. And now they need that time to process. They need that time to think about it. So you can't expect them to have fully formed ideas about what they want to say to you right away. That being said, I think that this is somebody that puts a lot of care and effort into the way that they respond. And I think that it's somebody that still cares for and respects you very much. And that's why they really want to reflect on what you say to them, reflect on what they want to say back to you, and where this relationship goes if you reconnect, or if you stay in contact, or if you go back to no contact. They really want to sit and reflect and take the proper amount of time to decide what to do here. I feel like this is a very slow-moving, responsible kind of person when it comes to emotions. And for you, I feel like you're somebody who's like, I need the response instantly. Like, you're the kind of person to respond instantly. I don't think that this is that kind of person. And so I feel like this hurt that you might be feeling, this gloom, is more like you have this idea of why they're not responding right away, and it freaks you out. But in reality, it's like they just want to take their time with a response. Don't let it get to you if you do decide to reach out. And then finally, we have a piece of advice for you. The piece of advice that I got here might step on some toes, but I need you to really look within and ask yourself, did you get a lot of validation from this person? Because I feel like when you were with this person, you have the Six of Wands reversed, and the Six of Wands upright is all about confidence and like celebration. I feel like this person, the word princess came to mind for some reason. You don't have to be a girl or somebody that identifies as a woman, but I feel like this is somebody that made you feel like a princess, or made you feel like royalty. Like, it's somebody that's well taken care of, pampered. You felt very confident when you were by their side. Maybe this is somebody that you felt like a lot of people want. It felt very good for you to be with them. And if you take a step back and you see like, okay, there was this breakup, or there was this no contact, and now you're no longer with this person, that validation, that those confident feelings also leave. And you have to ask yourself, are you reaching out to this person because subconsciously you miss that and you want to be back at that level, or because you actually really desire to connect with this person? Because I feel like there are some things within you that need to be looked at and resolved and healed that this person won't necessarily be able to give to you. You need to ask yourself, what do you really want to get out of reaching out to them? Like, what feelings are you hoping to get? Are you hoping to get confidence? Like, ask yourself, like, within yourself, what are you subconsciously desiring to get by reaching out to this person? Is it actually closure? Like, what does closure feel like? What do you need to say to them? What do they need to say to you to give you closure? really examine that, because I feel like there are some deeper feelings here that need to be looked at about why it is that you actually want to reach out to them, what you're hoping to get out of it. And with the happiness card, I feel like Spirit is trying to tell you that you can achieve happiness, you can achieve the feeling states that you had with this person all on your own. You don't need this person to feel that level of confidence that you felt with them. And I feel like I need to leave you there. I'm not going to give you too much information there because I feel like it's going to be slightly different for everybody, the details of it. But the gist of it is, what are you actually trying to get from this person? And can you recognize that it can be given to you by yourself? I hope that makes sense. But that is what I see for you. I think that if you wanted to reach out to this person, I think it would go well. It would just take a while. And I would give you the piece of advice to not panic if they don't reach out within the first few days, or if they don't respond right away, or if their messages are very dry. I feel like this person is somebody that, like, after they receive a big old paragraph, they need a few days to really digest it, especially if they're dealing with a lot of things. And then eventually I think they would get back to you, and they would give you a very respectful and meaningful message. So, you do you. If you really want to reach out, I encourage you to do so if you feel like it would help you. So, pile 2, that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, pile 3, last but certainly not least. Your reading. Okay, so the way that we're doing this, like I said in the beginning, is we're looking at what would the outcome be like for you? How would you be feeling afterwards if you were to reach out? Then the same for them. Like, what would the outcome be like for them if you were to reach out? And then a final piece of advice for you. I feel like this is, it's like, what's the saying? Like, unstoppable force meets immovable object. I think that's you and this person. I feel like when you guys butt heads, you're like rams and you like lock horns with each other. I feel like, and the reason that I think that is because you have the Emperor for you and the Hierophant for them. And in the tarot, the major arcana tells this story of like the Fool's Journey or whatever. And 2 of the cards that are back to back, because I think it's literally like 4 and then 5, Emperor and the Hierophant. And it's the Fool's Journey in the beginning through like life, right? And it starts off with like, learning yourself, learning within yourself, but then also there's the Emperor, which is learning society's rules. And then there's the Hierophant, which is like learning the rules of like your religions, or like basically it's like it's hard to explain how I'm reading it, but it's like I said, immovable force and unstoppable force, immovable object. Sorry, I'm explaining this really badly, but you two are like the height of power. It's like if society's rules fought against like religion's rules. So again, I don't know why I'm trying to explain it like this, because it's not going to make a lot of sense. But if I had to explain the 2 of you, one of you has an idea of the way that certain things are supposed to be, and if the other person has an idea of the way things are supposed to be and it's different, you guys really lock horns and fight with each other. And it's like, I feel like there was a lot of passion there. I think that this was a very strong bond between the 2 of you. But with such strong personalities, I feel like there was also a lot of fighting. There's also like, my rules need to be correct. And it's like, no, my rules need to be correct. And it's like, well, no, I am right and you are wrong. And I feel like there was just a lot of back and forth. And what it shows to me is there was just this level of, not toxicity, what's the word? Incompatibility between the 2 of you, because I feel like you're both leaders. It's like you're both alphas, and it's like that was just never, it was never meant to work out long term. But I think that there is still a lot of admiration, respect, and love between the 2 of you. And I feel like I just feel like it wasn't a relationship that was meant to work out. But that being said, I feel like if the 2 of you were to reconnect, something that just came to mind is you guys would be great friends. If the 2 of you were to reconnect, if you were to reach out, it does seem like it would be very positive. I don't think that you guys would agree about certain things, and I feel like you should really do your best to stray away from fighting, because it's like a never-ending cycle between the 2 of you. But if it was you two wanting to reach out and forgive one another, wanting to have a deeper conversation about one another. I think that there is a lot of love here because we have, on your side, you have you are deserving, and on their side, you have forgive. And these are just very positive to me, and in both, you see two hands. With yours, it's like these two palms shown outwards. It's like giving or receiving. And for them, it's like forgiveness, and you see these fingers interlocked almost like they're holding hands. And it seems like it would go well if you were to reach out to them, but I do not see that this relationship would work as a partnership. I'm keeping it kind of vague. I think for the majority of you, this could be like, it was a romantic relationship, but I could also see it as being like work partners, because I just get the vibe that the two of you are very strong-willed, strong-minded individuals, and things just fell apart because you both had ideas of the way that things were meant to be, and they clashed and went against each other. And you know what? Sometimes that's just the way that things go. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong between the two of you. It just means you two weren't meant to last together because it was just incompatible on some level. That being said, I do think that if you wanted to reach out to this person, if you did want to forgive and move on, that would go very well. I just don't see things returning back to the way that they were before, if that's what you were hoping. And then the final piece of advice that I have for you here is the lovers, fear, and slow down. And I think that this is advice for you in particular. I feel like a part of you, whether you admit it to yourself or not, and I am just going to say, I do think that this is an ex-romantic relationship. I feel like a part of you has this fear that maybe like you're getting older, maybe there's not enough romantic options, and for some reason that's why you want to go back to this person. Whether you admit it to yourself or not, I think that a part of you feels like there's never going to be better than this person, and that's just not true. I see very clearly with the Lover's card here that there is a perfect relationship out there for you that you are destined for, something that is a lot more compatible than this. But you're literally being told to slow down because your fears are driving you back into the arms of this person. I feel like you're trying to tell yourself, like, that's as good as we're ever going to get. We need to go back to them. We need to make amends because we're not going to find anybody else. And it's not true. That's absolutely not true. Because what I see here with the Emperor reversed and the Hierophant reversed is at a base level, I think the two of you were going to be incompatible no matter what. Unfortunately. That doesn't mean that there's not love here. That doesn't mean that you couldn't be great friends. It just means like when it comes down to emotional issues and views about the way that you want to live and views about like where, down to what house you buy, I feel like there would be arguments and there would be incompatibility. I think the two of you are just very stubborn people and would not have worked out in a long-term relationship. But I feel like you're showing yourself all the good sides of things, all the things that you loved about this person, all the things that you enjoyed about it, and you're telling yourself, like, that's as good as we're gonna get. And it's not true. It's absolutely not true, because the Lover's card, fear and slow down, very clearly shows me, like, there is still somebody out there for you. There is a perfect match for you out there. You need to slow down. Don't let your fear drive you back into the arms of somebody else or drive you to making hasty decisions, because you don't know the full truth. The thing about humans is we're all about instant gratification and ego and like, I know what is right in front of me. And like, you can't predict the future. You don't know what's going to happen in 2 days. You don't know what's going to happen in a year or 10 years. There is a perfect relationship out there for you, and you do not need to settle for something that you know isn't really going to work out, So it's okay to slow down, try to quell those fears and say like, I don't know everything. Especially if you knowing everything is telling you to go back to this person, because like I said, I think that this person is somebody you could have a great friendship with. I think it's somebody that you two have a lot of respect between each other. But at the end of the day, the Emperor is looking for the Empress, not the Hierophant. Absolutely not the Hierophant, because the two of you were never meant to be together. There is an Empress out there to match your Emperor. You know what I'm saying? So if you wanted to reach out to this person, I do see it being very positive, but not in the like rekindling a relationship sort of way. I see it more as like forgiveness, moving on, maybe even becoming best friends, but not getting back together, because like I said, it does seem like the two of you are just very incompatible when it comes to relationships, and I feel like you needed that advice reminder that it's okay to slow down. You don't need to go back to exes because that's not the only relationship meant for you. There is something better out there destined for you, and it will come in due time, but you can't let fear guide you back into the arms of a relationship that just isn't perfect. You deserve better than that. You don't need to settle. So, Pile 3, that is everything that I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought you clarity and it found you when you needed it the most. But that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.